Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day. Hope you're all having an amazing day today. My name is Lex and welcome back to some more GTA 5, where today we're going to be looking at some stanced versions of cars that are already pre-existing in GTA 5. These are not like real cars that then have the stance stuff added to them. This is just the cars from GTA now with bigger wheels, more camber, stretched tires, lowered suspension, and all that sort of stuff. And some of them also have the same complex modifying systems that you would have with the base car. So some of these are quite highly modifiable, only difference being that they have camber, big wheels, stretched tires, slam suspension, and all that sort of stuff, like this. This is the Oracle XS with... Look at this. This looks... I've got to say, actually, I'm not that big on stance, but the thing is, I appreciate that some of you are. That's why I do this video. But I like this car. This just looks really nice to me. It's because when you see sort of like an MX-5 that's like it, you just think, well, you're not going to enjoy the car as much. I mean, I get it, the MX-5, you do it for the look. With a car like this, it's not supposed to go fast. It's supposed to just look good and get you places. And you know what? I don't think this does look too stupid. I'm sure if I saw this in real life I'd probably disagree, but I just, there's something about stance or something about these cambered wheels that I sort of find not appealing, but it's just so different and interesting that I don't hate it, unless it's like severe camber, and then I just sort of see it as a joke. I don't really take it seriously. But this level is pretty cool, in my opinion, and this is a car which I think in this game is supposed to be based on a German car, but to me it looks sort of Japan-only style model, something like a Chaser or Crusader, you know, something along those lines, probably not Auto. What is going on with the traffic up here? I was trying to drive normally, but do you know what? Sod it, because there's too much traffic going on. I'm just stuck in traffic all day. So yeah, because this looks Japanese and because it's got the VIP stuff, I actually think this is really nice. And there's not much that we can modify with this, but there are a few cars that can be modified quite substantially that do have stance on them. I think there's like 5 cars. One car there is actually 2 different versions of that we're going to be checking out today. But before we get into all of that, there's going to be some comments and questions on the screen. If you would like your comments and questions featured, you can leave them in the comments section below. I'll feature some at random at the start of the next video. And don't forget, you can also follow me on Twitter at Figureight. Links for my Twitter are in the description below. Right, so we need to find somewhere nice, quiet, and whatever to do some modifying, because those of you who know my videos know that I don't really go to the garages anymore because it's just the same look every time. I want to try and find somewhere different every time we do these videos. I'm pretty sure this is the exit, but yeah, it does say do not enter. Don't know where the entrance is. I can't remember to find it. But I like to now try and find a different place every time for us to modify cars, because it's just a lot more interesting. So let me just get to what I hope will be the roof, because, oh, yeah, the roof's over there. There we go, I just missed it. And let's modify this thing. Okay, here we are, and I've got my camera mod so we can have a nice closer look around this thing. So actually there has been some styling changes to this car. Some of them don't have this, but I have noticed that this has got these little eyebrow things, whatever it's got. I'm pretty sure that's debadged. Sadly, this is a replacement and not an add-on, so I can't compare it with the old one. But I'm pretty sure the old one had a badge on it. We also have this different bumper with a big, massive intercooler, and I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be some sort of logo from what I've seen in the pictures of this, but when I installed the mod, for some reason, it didn't really work. Not entirely sure why that is. Also got quite a nice looking splitter. Not splitter, what am I talking about? Side skirt right there. We also have a nice rear bumper. I'm pretty sure all of this is different, especially with the exhausts, but it makes for a really nice looking car. I think this looks really nice, apart from the glitch on the front. I'm actually quite sold on this one. So let's try modify it. I mean, there's not going to be much that we can do. So let's just go to menus, customs here. So on the lowrider mods, there isn't actually anything. Wheels we can't change because, of course, these are just the wheels that it's given us. If we were to change the wheels, I'm pretty sure it would just either not work or they would... Yeah, okay, it just doesn't work. Or they would just shrink and you just have these tiny little wheels probably floating because it's not really made to have different wheels on it. Wheel color, let's see if we can change that. We can't, but I'm pretty sure that's because that's a texture and not actually just black. So, we'll ignore the wheels. The wheels are done. In fact, all the body kit's pretty much done because it's already been added to this car. You can't select and change it. So, it's just engine, brakes, transmission. So, it's just a case of tinting the windows and finding a different color paint. I don't know what we got on the extras here. Got a bunch of stuff. Pretty sure it's going to be the interior stuff. Yeah, it's just that. We'll just get rid of all that and clean it all up a bit. So we'll go ahead and we'll tint the windows down. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a bit more monochromatic, something more VIP style. So I'm going to go to paints, primary. I'm going to go for worn and utility because I'm really into worn and utility colors lately because they're sort of satin. Especially on the worn, it's satin and not matte, which I think is pretty cool. Actually, with this, we can get a nice little pearl going with this satin color. So this is like a pearl red over black, which is quite interesting. So I reckon that. And then we just go ahead and... Where do I find... There it is, the pearlescent color. We can go for a black just to make this all black. Or we can try and find a nice pearl color. See, look at that. Just that red. That's nice. I'm liking that. I think that's really cool. That's classy. That's the sort of color you would have on a VIP car. And that's that one pretty much done. That's pretty much it, apart from just modifying it, which we're not really going to do because we're not doing any sort of speed test. So there is car number 1. Done. I'm loving that. Let's jump off because we're going to try and find a different place. Oh, I was hoping to have mixed to the other roof. I'm pretty sure that's what that jump's supposed to be. I think I'm stuck now, aren't I? No, wait. Can I make it? Can I make it? Okay, this isn't going to work. Okay, so here we are in car number 2, and you can probably tell by this interior and the noise. Yeah, I should probably look where I'm going right now. Okay, I'm doing a very terrible turn. You can probably tell by this noise and the interior that this is the Sultan RS, but there are a couple of differences on the interior. Firstly, this beautiful Nardi steering wheel that I've got clasped in between my hands. Would it be in between my hands? I guess the rim of the wheel is. I think this is one of my favourite wheels of all time. I'm also a big fan of the Momo Team wheel, but the Nardi is just a classic JDM wheel. In fact, is Nardi's an Italian company, isn't it? It's just, but it's always the cars that always the wheel that I see on Japanese cars, so I sort of see it as more of a JDM style thing. Or maybe Nardi is a Japanese company, but I'm pretty sure it sounds Italian. I'm sure you guys can let me know in the comments what the actual answer is there. Whoa, hello there. So here's the exterior. This car has the biggest amount of camber that we will see today. This thing is cambered up until the 9s. Was there always a jump here? I don't remember there always being a jump here, but that apparently there is, because it's just signified that little camera thing. Whoa, that went straight to the ground. That was definitely a jump fail, but again, I wasn't really trying. Let's pull into here to modify this one. Let's get a nice little spot. But it is a little bit shaded, so we'll come out here. So here is the Sultan RS, and of course this has all the modifying things that you could do with the standard Sultan RS. But I just want to get this view right here. Let's just zoom in. Look at that. The camber on that is absolutely ridiculous. That is so crazy. If we just go down, look at that. The wheel is actually... It's actually intersecting the ground at that point. That's crazy. But in real life, I've seen cars like this in real life. Every time they run over like a small rock, that would just take a massive chunk out of the wheel and probably even like... I think that stretch is probably at the point where it could easily break off. Like if you just put a bit too much pressure in there, I'm pretty sure that tire would just disconnect itself from the wheel. It looks crazy. Oh, I'm getting a bit motion sick doing that. Let's turn that out to... there we go. Right, so, well, this is going to be... I could probably do like an entire video on just this car modifying this thing, so I'm going to try and breeze through this thing so I can show the other cars as well. So menus, customs, there's a bunch of things that I could do on the interior. Trim, sun strip, all that sort of stuff, ornaments, dash, flocked. Let's just go for the carbon one. We're not even going to really look inside, but there you go, there's our flock. I do like that carbon dash. Look at that. Is that supposed to be a CB radio? That's pretty cool. I like that. It's also got what I assume is like the ECU unit tuning thing just hanging around under there. And fire extinguisher and all those other gubbins. Does it very nice. I'm pretty sure I have a full video of me modifying one of these, so the comprehensive video of me doing that is somewhere on this channel. Door cards, there's no point in doing the interior really. Let's just go all the way through. Fittings and stuff is all going to be interior. We've also got eyebrows. These are the exterior stuff. Not really sure that's going to match anything, but I quite like the look of those basic headlight vents. But this is supposed to be a street car, not a race car, so I think that might be a bit overkill. So I'm going to keep that all stock, I think. We could also go for some carbon wind deflectors or something like that. Maybe we'll go for like a little bit of a carbon theme. Let's also pick a livery as well. I don't know if we'll just go with the standard or not. So we have that one, we have that one, we have that one, we have that one. We have all these big major ones and the racing stuff, and of course... oh yeah, what's the name for this? Itasha, I think it's called? which is, I think that's the name. It's like the name for having anime characters on the sides of cars. If people are into Itasha, I think there's actually quite a few Itasha mods. I don't know if any of you guys are interested in checking that sort of stuff out. I'm going to go with the white evolved stripe. Going to be nice and different because I haven't used that one before. So wheels can't be changed. I don't know if these are the modified versions of the wheels that are already on this car. I think they might be a bit different, but they do look very nice, I've got to say. Spoiler, they're all probably going to be a bit too much. Yeah, these are a bit overkill. Mind you, we can go for the extended lip spoiler. There we go, just something nice and subtle. Of course, we have all the different combinations of this. Could just have the Drift RS bumper with the carbon. I think it might be just a bit too much. Maybe I'll just go for the C2. Yeah, let's just go for that, something a bit different. Then on the rear bumper, I think I'm just going to go for the classic, whatever these are again. I can never remember what these are called. I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comments again. You can go for some side skirt extensions down there. Just looking pretty nice. Exhaust, go for a big bore side exhaust. Actually, is that too much? That's not too much. I'll just go for the twin short. There we go. We go for a full padded chassis. We've also got the grille, removed grille. Or could have the monster intercooler. There we go. The hood. We can go for the scooped hood, which I think is going to be quite Subaru style, so we go for that. We also have the wide body arch extensions as well, which actually look kind of weird. Yeah, okay, that looks funky. That looks really funky. That doesn't really... See, with that arch, the wheel sort of matching that angle sort of makes that look. I guess that's why people make that angle, because it's supposed to be sort of relatively similar to the arch. When you've got it like that, it just looks stupid. So that's not going to work. But this carbon bolt-on arch stuff does look good. I'm just going to go for the primary bolt-on. Yeah, it's looking pretty fine. I mean, it's not the best, but I am sort of just rushing through here. Also stick some vortex generators onto the top. Right, I'm just going to go and pick colour and windows, and let's see what I can do to this. So I'll start off with a light smoke. And then on the paints, I'm feeling more of the utility and worn, but I might save that for the other cars, so I'm going to go for a nice metallic on this one. And actually, I'm really liking this white and silver, but I do have a couple of bits of blue, which I'm pretty sure are to do with the secondary. So let's go for the metallic and go for the bluish silver. I actually really like that colour. That's a colour I don't usually go for, and the white sort of complements it. And the gold sort of goes with it. So, actually, I'm going to go with that. I'm sure I could have made that better if I spent more time on it. But, of course, there are plenty more cars to look at in this video, and this thing is, as I said, wildly tunable, and I could spend the whole video just modifying this. So there's that done. I do love the sound of this car. It's normally the sound I go for when I go to change the sounds of other modified cars. This is just always the one I pick. It's the same as when I played GTA 4. It was always this car that I drove, just because it was the nicest sounding. I'm a big fan of that sound. Right, so let's find somewhere new, and let's find another car to modify. Okay, so I'm in this neighborhood, and I found an abandoned plot next to all these houses, which I thought would be a nice place to modify our next car. And here it is. This is the Ingot. Now, I do actually have two different versions of this by two different modders. They are two complete different mods. I'll have links to both. But this is probably my favorite of the two. But let me just spawn in the other one so I can show you what they both look like. Okay, so here we are. So this one is more of a standard Ingot. It's got the sort of angled number plate, because I guess that's cool, apparently. And it has the badges still. It doesn't have anything else really done to it. But it does have, on the interior, some rather uncomfortable looking seats. I mean, if you wanted a stance car, you probably got hard, lowered suspension. The last thing you want is uncomfortable seats, but I see that quite a lot of people do. When you see these show cars and stuff, they do have these crazy, uncomfortable looking seats, so I guess this sort of matches. Also has a Jason mask, hockey mask thing hanging up there, and a big, massive gear stick as well. But apart from that, pretty standard. And then we have this one over here, which has much cooler looking wheels. Not so much in the way of camber, but it does have wide wheels and just flared arches and stuff like that. Whereas this one does actually have a bit of camber going on. A lot more stretch as well, and a bit more poke. And actually, I'd say these wheels are nicer, because I'm a big fan of mini lights, but I don't know. I'm sure you guys can let me know which one you prefer. This one also has some Illest, Hella Flush, all infamous stickers and all that sort of stuff. So this is more stancy in style. It also has a debadged grille. Also some stuff in the front. Slam Society, Ill Notion, whatever that's supposed to say. But the interior is pretty much stock, so you can actually get an idea of what the two different interiors look like. Because this one also seems to be brown, which I guess is flavour of the month. That sort of matches the leather. Interesting. Oh yeah, it also has a different steering wheel as well. So this Ingot I can't do much to. I assume they're both going to be pretty similar. So I'm just going to quickly change the colours because I'm sure that's all we can really do. We have got suspension that we can change. On this one, actually, it's sort of intersecting, but you don't notice it too much, so I guess we can get away with competition suspension. So there's it slammed down even more. Then for paints, I want to go to primary. I want to go to worn, because I love all these worn colours. Oh, it's also two-tone. Oh, of course, this one's two-tone as well. Ah, okay. Oh, actually, I quite like that, because that looks like red oxide primer, and that sort of goes with the interior, sort of like a rough-looking thing, because it hasn't got the extra arches on. It looks like a cheaper sort of thing. She could easily just stick those seats in and all that sort of stuff. So I quite like that look. We've got the black. Let's go for a matte black on the secondary though. Let's go for worn again, actually. Worn black. Yeah, there we go. That's looking nice. I'm liking that. Then for this one, which I decided to move over here because it's a bit sort of overgrown there and I didn't want to mess up anything. This looks so nice. Let's see what we could do. Probably the same amount of nothing. It's just going to be, yeah, it's just wheels, which we can't change. Suspension. We can knock that down. Oh, this one goes down to race suspension this time instead of competition. Oh, yeah, that's slammed. That's really low down to the ground. That's pretty cool. And then we can also go for some paints again. I'm going to make this just sort of a nicer one because this looks like it's had a bit more effort put that into it. So let's go for a nice classic. And what have we got here? Something like a red. We can have like two different ones. So that one's the red oxide primer, the ratty looking one. And then we have the nicer one in a nicer red. Actually, I'm going to go for a metallic red. So I think that's going to probably look a bit nicer. Yeah, there we go. That's nicer than the standard glossy red. Maybe we can go for something a little bit dark. Oh, maybe we can go for that. Or blaze red. I'm liking blaze red. I'm going to go for that. And then on the secondary, I'm going to make that matte black on the bottom. And I'm going to get rid of that pearlescent and turn it to default. Because I think that looks better. I like that. I am a big fan, as you guys probably know, of plastic bumpers and all that sort of stuff. So, of course, I have to go for the black around all of that because I think that looks really nice. So there's our two different versions of the Ingot. Oh, yeah. I'd love for you guys to let me know which one you prefer. Because as much as I think this is cool, I'm sort of going with this one. I've got to be honest. It's just that the arches are just maybe a bit too much. This one's a bit simpler. And the red oxide primer is a pretty cool look. Yeah, I don't know. You guys will have to let me know what you think. But I vote for this one. Right, let's move on to the next car. Okay, so here's the next car. And it's a car that we've looked at only in the previous video. This is the Spectre Custom. But it starts out big wheels, big massive camber. Oh, look at that. Hello. Got a nice little lowered friend to come say hi to us. But there is an issue with this one. It has very, very wonky wheels. It looks like a massive health hazard, like it's about to crash and burn. As you can see, very, very wobbly. So this is a car that I would suggest only really using to take pictures if you wanted to get a picture of like a stance version of this. But if we just go to menus customs, this does have all of the features that we had for the previous one. So I can actually just go for auto upgrade. There you go. There's an auto upgraded version just to show you that you can modify all the stuff with this. But of course, it doesn't look very good when it's moving because those wheels look absolutely dreadful. But it's just another one that I wanted to show you guys. It looks better in pictures than video. Let's move on then to the final car. And here it is. It's the Elegy Retro with a little bit of stance going on. Just a little bit of camber, a little bit of loweredness going on. I think there's actually a little bit of wobbly wheel action there as well. Let's see, have we got a bit of wobbly? We do have a bit of wobbly wheel, but it's not as noticeable as the other one, because that was just a bit too much poke and a bit too much blue. I think this one is a bit more subtle, but I have noticed this with quite a few stance cars, is they can't get the rolling stuff right. I do know that the Sultan RS that we checked out earlier did have that problem at the beginning, but the mod maker managed to fix it, so thankfully that one worked absolutely perfectly. I need to find somewhere to stop. This is all a bit grassy. In fact, let's go and pull in over here. This looks pretty nice. Just a nice little area. We've got some cars going past. We've got a bit of action. And of course, this can be modified exactly the same as all the other Elegy Retros. So it does have the full kit and caboodle of stuff that we can do. So like the Sultan RS, I'm going to try and breeze through this. I'm not going to do much in the way of the interior because we get it. This can have all the interior stuff done to it. Let's go for livery straight away. So we have white stripes. Oh yeah, remember I don't really like the liveries on this car, do I? We have all of this, the drift missile. We could actually go for the drift missile and make this sort of like a ratty stanced version of the Elegy. I'm pretty sure my last video of this car did do the same sort of style, but I can't help it. It's such a cool look. We can't change the wheels, so we go on to spoiler. Let's go for a nice little ducktail. The bolt-on ducktail is going to suit us just fine. Then we have the custom front bumper. I don't like the sticker bomb. I want to find something that's just subtle. Maybe we'll just go with the standard. I think maybe the standard or just that carbon bit at the bottom. Yeah, I think just the standard is probably going to look best on this one if it's going to be ratty. We could go, though, with a carbon rear diffuser, maybe. But that does make it look a bit too classy. Mind you, I'm sure we can balance both. I'm going to go for it because it's a cool look. On the skirts, we can go for a nice side skirt extension. I think that's going to match that fine. Oh, I didn't seem to think that cars would intersect with my camera if I looked to the side. That's a bit awkward. We could... Oh, excuse me. I think maybe the secondary skirt extension right there is going to look pretty cool because I'm going to go with 2 different colours on this car. I do like the colour scheme, but it's probably a good idea to change it. I've got an idea in mind, which... I'll show you in just a second. So we can go for some bigger exhaust, something like the big bore exhaust, that's very Japanese, or the race exhaust. Let's go for that. I don't want to go for any of the titanium. Maybe we can go for the twin chrome. Nah, let's go for just the big race exhaust. There we go. Chassis, we can go for the full roll cage. Won't do padded this time, make it nice and raw. Grill, we'll go for... Oh yeah, this is going to be the grill surround on the front. I'd actually want to keep that stock, thank you. On the hood, we can just go for something simple, maybe. Something like that vented hood or a ducted. In fact, just that little duct is going to be just nice. This stuff is going to be maybe a bit too much, so we'll just go with the ducted hood right there. Fenders on the side, we can go for a single vent. I actually can't remember what the fenders are on this one. We've got some wide angular rear fenders. How do they look with this wheel? Actually, because it's not cambered that much, it's not that bad. These are a bit too much, though. That's sticking out just a bit too much for my liking. So I think that the wide angular rear arches just sort of match. But I guess that makes it a bit too nice for the fact this is supposed to be ratty. So I'm just going to go for the twin vent front fenders like that. On the roof, well, it's probably going to be too much. I'm not even going to bother with that. And then it's just engine, brakes, transmission, horn, suspension. Let's see how we get with competition. That's going to be a bit too low. I think that's just a lot of intersecting right there. How far do we go up before it gets... stock suspension is pretty much like perfectly slammed as it is, so suspension doesn't need to be changed. Again, I could have done Slam It mod with all of these, but actually what would have happened is they would have just intersected the ground, so that's probably not a good idea. But I'll actually just show you one of them, the Ingot, with it all slammed down, because it does look ridiculous. So let's just go for paints, primary, worn, because this is supposed to be ratty. And I've got an idea in mind. Let's see how this looks. I'm thinking either light orange, taxi yellow, or pale orange. Do you know what? I am a huge fan of the worn taxi yellow. And for our secondary colour, I'm going to go to worn. Ooh, black. Black or graphite? No, black. I am loving that yellow and black look. It's sort of it's a weird inspiration, but I was inspired by one of my yo-yos. If you don't know, I have a yo-yo collection. Very classic yo-yo called the Turbo Bumblebee, for any of you that were into yo-yos in the 90s. I decided to go with that colour scheme for this car, and actually I think it looks pretty nice. I'm quite liking that. So we get rid of that menu, and we go back to this camera view, and there we go. That's beautiful. That's looking absolutely lovely. Right, I just want to quickly show you what Slam It mod looks like on the Ingots and just show you why I didn't really go for each car, because they are completely and utterly ridiculous. Okay, so here we are in the non-wide arch version of the Ingot, and if I just go to, here we go, down to Slam It. Let's just start off with I Got the Crabs, and you can see that actually that's sort of okay. Let's just flip to this camera view so we can see it better. There we go. It's sort of a bit bouncy, but it gets worse. It goes down to there, and does it go any lower? It doesn't get any lower than that, so we get low. Is as low as it goes, but just look at how ridiculously low that is. In fact, let's just go back to this camera view and start driving it, and you'll see what I mean. Look, this is... It's utterly ridiculous. It does glitch through on the arches, and it is bouncy. But that is how low you can get cars like this if you did want it to get it that ridiculously low, but it does look stupid. It does look like it's just going to rub on the ground. And it's not that great. Actually, now we've got Slam It on. How does it look like if we just jump back into the Elegy? This might look a bit stupid. Actually, not that much of a slam. Whoa, but it is bouncy. Good God, look at the bounce. Oh my god. Well, I'd love you guys to let me know in the comment section below which one of these cars is your favorite. But that's going to be it for this video. So if you've enjoyed this video, please let me know by rating, commenting, and subscribing. Let me know which one of those cars that I made is your favorite. Maybe you just like them standard. Maybe you don't like the stance bit. Maybe you do. Maybe you think it's better with the stance. Let me know all of these things in the comment section below. But that will be it. Thank you so much for watching. And I shall bounce away and see you next time. Goodbye.